Good morning, guys. I hope you were able to complete your homework assignment from yesterday. Here is the key for that. And by elimination, the first one, the way I did it, and this doesn't have to be the way you set it up, but here is, I chose the first two equations for my A and the last two equations for my B. I eliminated the z to begin with by multiplying the second equation here by 8. And then eliminated the z in B by multiplying the first, or actually the second equation here by 4. Okay? So I ended up with only x and y, and then eliminate those two. The numbers get big, so that doesn't make it any harder, just takes another second. Multiply this equation by 2 and this equation here by 5. You can eliminate the y's. So we solve for x, replace the x into one of these equations here, and solve for y. So we have x and we have y. Plug both of those into another equation. The second one here is easiest. And you get an answer for z. So then you have your answers. X, y, and z written as an ordered triple instead of a pair. I highlighted the other two, A and B, so you can follow that a little quicker. Pause the video, of course, if you need more time. I'm sure you will if you made any mistakes, but check your answer. 2, -2, 9, and I do want to see your work. And number 5, A, B, check your answer. If you have any questions with my math, you can send me a message. Okay, so now we're going to go over how to solve these, not using elimination, but using a matrix. Okay, so please take some notes on how to do this. You can go back and watch this video. We're roughly in 3 minutes. As many times as you need, but practice this, because it will save your life, so to speak. Not literally, but you'll feel like it. Let's do the first problem again using the matrix. Now follow along with me. The first buttons I push, and you might want to write this order down. I'm going to push this, of course the calculator needs to be on and cleared. Hit the second button, and then the inverse of X button, which is right below math. It says matrix in light blue on my calculator. I don't know what color it is on yours, but the second feature says matrix. So second matrix are my two buttons. And then I'm going to arrow right twice. So right to edit. And you can edit any of this list of matrices. I just always replace A and use A because it's easy, but you can put in as many as you want. Just make sure you pick the right one when you're doing the math. I'm going to edit matrix A. Now matrix A defaults to 1 by 1. And that means one row by one column. If you look at our problem here, let's do number 3. We have 3 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So I need it to be that. 3, enter, 4, enter. And you see the screen change there. I have 3 rows, 4 columns. Now I'm going to take and put the coefficients in here. Hopefully you watched yesterday's video And you know this only works if the equations are in standard form. Something times x plus something times y plus something times z equals the coefficient. If your equation does not look like that, you have to put it in standard form first, then pull your coefficients. So the coefficients are just the numbers of the variables. So I'm going to go through my list here. My first one, if you look here, is positive 5. Then I have negative 3 because it has to be plus something y. So it's plus a negative 3. Plus 8z, enter. Then negative 59, enter. 9, enter. Negative 4, enter. Negative 1. If it doesn't have a coefficient written down, it's understood to be 1. Now, if there is no z at all, you would put in a 0. Okay? You would put in a 0 if the variable is missing. Then negative 60, 5, 2, 4, negative 47. Okay, so pause from your note-taking and look at my screen here and compare the numbers to what's on the problem and let me know if anybody has any questions. Did y'all understand where I got all those values and why some of them are negative and why some are positive? Probably easier to see there. Bless you. It has not. There's still. Okay, so does everybody see where I've got my numbers and how I've edited it? Were you able to do that? Do you need a second to catch up? I said if you don't have a calculator, use one of mine. Just wipe it off with a cleaner before you use it and after. Okay, so I don't want to drag this on forever because people are going to be referring back to it again and again, and you can speed up if you need to on watching the video. So now I have my data. I'm going to exit. So to exit, you hit the second button and then the mode button, because above mode it says quit. Okay? And that'll leave what you put in there in there. So second quit, your screen clears. Okay? Now we're going to do some math on the matrix. So your next note after second quit would be second matrix again. Arrow right once this time, only one right arrow. And then you'll see all these different things we can do to our matrix. And when you get into college and you take a class like linear algebra or something like that, you may use a lot of these. When I took linear algebra in college, they wouldn't let us use a calculator, and that was recently, well, like 10 years ago. So we couldn't do all this, but we could go home and check our work, arrow all the way down. You can't actually go shorter and go up until you get to B. So in your notes, pick B, R, R, E, F.
I'm a B.
Oh.
R-R-E-F? Or R-E-F?
Reduce row echelon form.
Yep.
It says law, which means you have to pay for it. So you might want to use one of my calculators. And try a different calculator. So, RREF is our choice. We're going to do math. You hit enter when it's highlighted, and you'll see that pop up on your screen, RREF. You don't need to know this. That stands for Reduced Row Echelon Form. Now it's got parentheses there. It's going to say which matrix am I doing this math to? You have to tell it which one. And I always default to the first one, A, but you still have to tell it that. So you say second, and then matrix again. And A is already highlighted, or the number 1 is already highlighted. So you hit enter. And now it says RREF, parentheses, matrix A. Those brackets stand for matrix. That lets you know it's a matrix. And then I close my parentheses and hit enter. And when I do, I want you to compare the solution we calculated here to what's on the calculator and see if you can spot the answer. It's this last column here, and the reasoning is, this is what this means, okay? What this means is that I have, look at my coefficients here. The coefficients are different than what we put in, but if I were rewriting the equation, I have something times x, something times y, something times z equals a constant, okay? So, if you look here, I have 1 x, 0 y's, 0 z's, and that equals -7. So if you throw out the zeros, I just have x equals -7. Make sense? The second row, I've got x, I've got y, I've got z, but this time my numbers are 0, 1y, 0z equals -3. So if I throw out these zeros, I just have 1y equals -3. Yes? We're going to do it again, okay? Faster in just a second. Okay, I just wanted to explain the answer, and then I'm going to go back over it all again so you can check your notes again. So 0x plus 0y plus 1z equals, whoops, I'm sorry, this was 0 here, not -3. That one was 0. I wrote down the wrong result. This equals -3. Yeah, no one even noticed that. So remember, if you catch me making a mistake, you get a bonus point, but you have to tell me before I correct it. Z equals -3. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what our answer means. If your matrix doesn't look like this, if it isn't 1x, 0y, 0z, etc., if there's more than one variable, or they're all zeros, then that means the answer is either no solution or all real numbers, so it will be different. This only works if you get this, what's called an identity matrix here, where you have the diagonal of 1s and everything else is 0 except the constant column. Okay? So, let me go through the steps one more time. This time, don't look at your notes necessarily, follow along with me. Okay? So, I'm going to hit, to start with, just clear second matrix, arrow right, enter, change your matrix to a 3, enter, 4, enter, and it's a 3 by 4 matrix. Then plug your numbers in, the coefficients of your equations in standard form. I'm not going to go through all those again, but we had 5, -3, 8, -59, 9, -4, -1, -60, 5, 2, 4, -47. Okay? So get all those in. Once they're entered properly, you hit second, quit. Okay? Are you following along? Okay? That saves it. It's saved under matrix A. And then you hit second matrix again, and now we're going to do the math. So then you arrow right once. So second matrix, 1 right arrow. Then you go to B. It's shorter to go up to B. Yes. Some of your free calculator apps are not going to work for this. And when you're at school, you can use one of mine. Just clean them before and after. But it's still worth having the free ones on your phone to do the majority of your work. We're only going to do this for a couple of days, so I don't really recommend paying the $6.99 or whatever to buy the feature. You can still work them out by hand. You can use one of the other apps like Photomath or MathWay maybe. I don't think Photomath will solve these either. Did anybody try? So anyway, RREF, enter. You got that? RREF will pop up on your screen. Then you tell it which matrix. So you hit second matrix again, and when the one you put it in, I put mine in A, is highlighted, you hit enter, and then it'll say RREF parentheses matrix A. Close the parentheses, hit enter, and you will get your answer, an identity matrix with the values there, -7, 0, -3. Were you able to do it? It's not working? Yeah. Do you have a calculator? Pardon? It's not working. You can use a calculator too. Guys, trust me, you want to learn to do this. Did yours work? It didn't work? All right. So now that I've showed you and you know how to do it, I'm going to check the other two answers just to make sure I didn't do a mathematical miscalculation here. Okay? So, and I want you to see how quickly a problem can be done. I've spent 15 minutes explaining how to do it. Now I'm just going to show you do one and see how quick it goes. So, first thing you do, second matrix, right arrow, edit your matrix. I'm going to put in my coefficients. It's a 3 by 4 from last time. It's already set. I've got 1, enter, -5, enter, +3, enter, 39, enter, 3, enter, 8, enter, -1, enter, -19, enter, 2, enter, -6, enter, -5, enter, -29, enter. If you just push enter, you don't have to arrow over to get to the next screen or the next block. It will automatically plug it in for you. Okay? So I've got my matrix updated. I just do second mode or second quit. Now notice I still have this problem from last time on my screen here. But I'm still going to walk you through the steps. There's a shortcut here, but I'm going to walk you through the steps. I hit second matrix, go to math, go to B or REF, enter, second matrix, 1, enter, and now I have the new solution, 2, -1, +9. That matches the results I got by working it out with elimination. So, any questions? As far as you got, okay. Let's do one more. Let's do the last one, and then you can go back and watch the video, okay? We're going to do the last one. Follow along with me. I'll say every key as I'm pressing it. Okay? So, clear your screen. I'm going to hit second matrix. Go over to edit. So that's 2 rights. Enter. It's a 3x4. So 3, enter, 4, enter. Then you type in your coefficients. All of my equations are in standard form, so I don't have to move anything. I do have to change a few signs, but I can do that without writing it down. So I have, the first one is 1, enter, 1, enter, 3, enter, 12, enter. When you finish this, you might want to go back and double check your numbers, because if you made a typo, guess what? Garbage in, garbage out. You got to have it right when you type it in. So -3, enter, 7, enter, -2, enter, -35, enter. Last row, 7, enter, -6, enter, -5, enter, 32, enter. Is everybody caught up? You want to type it in. You can practice now and go back and watch the video later. Or pause the video and rewind. Are you guys good? Okay. Once I've got my correct data in, I hit second, quit. Then second matrix. That saved it. Go over to math. So that's right 1, then up to B or RREF. So we're using one of the free versions. It doesn't have them labeled as B. RREF, enter. Then we tell which matrix to put in there. RREF, second matrix, I pick A, close my parentheses, enter. We're looking to see that I have a diagonal of the 1s here. All these other values are 0 except for the last column. The last column gives us our answers. 5, -2, +3. Okay? Now, I'm going to skip back to a problem. Let me find a problem where there is no solution and show you how it will look different when there's no solution. Hopefully I've got one here. Well, I found one, but it's not a 3x4, it's only a 2x3, okay, where the answer is no solution. So let's do a smaller one. This is the more typical equation you're going to see anyway. Let's look here. So second matrix, practice typing this in, second matrix, go over to edit, enter. This one is only 2 rows, 3 columns. So I need to change my screen. I'm going to say 2, enter, 3, enter to change it. Now, this one is not in standard form. So I need to move this -9 to the other side and put it first. So what would the first value in my matrix be? +9. Okay? Then I'd have 12y. And then it equals 17. So that's, I converted it on my screen without having to write it down. Did you guys follow that? So my second row, the x is second, the y is first. I've got to change that order. Change that order. So the first number I put in, I don't have to move it to the other side. I'm just reorganizing it. So it stays -3. And then this one's -4, 31. Okay? So, once you've done that, you save it just by hitting second quit. Okay? And then we want to do reduce row echelon form. So second matrix math, go to B, enter. Which matrix do we want to do it to? Second matrix, enter. Close to my parentheses, enter. Wow, this is not all zeros, is it? So when it pops up that it's not all zeros, it's either going to be no solution or infinite solutions. Okay? If you see anything, look at this second row here. This means 0x plus 0y equals 1. Could that be possible? 0x plus 0y equals 1. So that tells you this is a no solution one. Okay? Now, if I had like all ones or some other number and a 1 over here, it's probably infinite solutions. But if it gives you something that's impossible, it's no solution. The first row might be real. You might have 1x and 1.3y's equals 0. That could be reasonable. Okay? But it's not the solution we're looking for. We're going to put no solution there, which is that one. Let me see if I have one that is all real numbers. I doubt it. It would be 2 identical equations, basically, except the coefficients are scaled. And it's not what we typically see. So I don't. We're going to do an application problem. And then we're going to call it a day. Well, I'm going to give you a few problems on quizzes to do. So, the theater sells 3 types of tickets: general admission tickets, senior citizen tickets, and child tickets. So, I could call that G, S, and C if I wanted to. To keep it simple, I'm just going to call it X, Y, and Z. Okay? So, X is my general admission. Y is my senior admission. And Z is going to be my child admission. I need some fine tip markers, I think, for this. Okay, so it's going to give me some equations. We're going to write the equations out. It says Mark bought 9 general admission tickets, 2 senior citizen tickets, 3 child tickets and paid $170. We're trying to figure out how much each ticket costs. If you look here at the last sentence, find the cost of each ticket. So here's what I know is that if you buy 9 of the general admission tickets, 2 of the senior tickets, and make sure these are in the same order as your variables. Sometimes they'll mix the words up to trick you. And 3 child tickets. That's one advantage to using variables that match your unknowns. Okay, so if I had put G, S, and C here, it's harder to get mixed up. The students tend to struggle whenever I do that, so I didn't. Equals $170. Somebody else, Sarah, bought 5 general admission tickets and 4 senior tickets and 7 child tickets and paid $173. Oh, yep, it's a 4. Okay, and I generally write them like that. My 2's look a lot like my Z's also. Yeah. So, I'm going to either combine these using elimination, which means I'd have to I need another equation, sorry. Kyle bought 4 general admission, 1 senior, and 6 child tickets, and paid $116.50. So, if you have 3 variables, you have to come up with 3 equations to solve for 3 variables, 3 different equations. I could use elimination and group 2 of these together and get an A and a B. Like I could group these 2 together and get an A. I could group these 2 together and get a B, where I only have 2 variables and 2 equations, and then you can solve for 1. But let's do this with the matrix. I want you to see the ease of it with the matrix. So, I'm going to hit second matrix. I'm going to change my values to match my new problem. Okay? This is a 3 by 4 matrix, so I need to reset that. My coefficients are 9 enter, 2 enter, 3 enter, 170 enter, 5 enter, 4 enter, 7 enter, 173 enter, 4 enter, 1 enter, 6 enter, 116.5. Almost messed it up there. Enter. Now, even though this is easy, you still need to know how to do the elimination. And the reason is on your EOC, it's probably going to have a question that says, if you combine the first 2 equations, which variable is easiest to eliminate? Or something like that. So, this will give you the correct answer, but sometimes they aren't asking the answer. You have to know how to do both methods. So don't use this shortcut as a crutch completely. Work a few of the elimination problems. That's what I had you guys do last night. And make sure you know how to do it. So I've got my information in. I check it. It's correct. I do second quit to save it. Then, now, here's a trick. If you go back on one of these newer calculators and just highlight this RREF of a matrix A and hit enter, it will re-enter that data. I don't know if your free phone apps do that or not. The old TI 83s and 84s did not, but these new plus CEs do that, and you can hit enter, and it will give you the solution without those extra 3 or 4 steps there on the end. Okay? So this tells me that my general admission tickets are $13.50, the senior tickets are $11.50, and the child tickets are $8.50. Okay? Now, if I work that out with elimination, this is what the problem looks like. Which would you rather do? So, it's worth learning how to do this and using the proper calculator. You can go back and review this anytime you want. Systems of elimination with 3 variables. You can do it with 2 variables, or you can do it with 200 variables. It's crazy. Way off in your future, some of you, you're going to try to find the number of people between 20 and 30, and the number of people between 30 and a day and 39, whatever. You're going to have all kinds of categories, not just a 1 variable, not just 2 variables, but maybe 12 or 15. When I was in college, I saw problems with 30 variables, where you have to go you use A through Z, and then you have to start over with AA. But don't freak out. Technology helps. Okay? We just have to understand why we're doing what we're doing before the technology loses its value. Your assignment is not going to be paper problems. I'm going to give you some problems. This was in your notes, but I'm not going to use this homework assignment 6 here. I'm going to use a quizzes online, so set up that account under the announcement and do the quizzes online instead. Thank you. Have a good day.